There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
This morning, top intelligence officials are set to deliver an updated UFO report to Congress.
Ancient Egypt is famous for many things, such as its tremendously ancient and rich culture, its amazing civilization, but also for its highly enigmatic deities and some of the most unusual legends from the ancient world. These are just some of the things that make ancient Egypt famous. One such odd and little-known story is an ancient Egyptian papyrus known as the Tulli Papyrus. The Tulli Papyrus is not like other Egyptian papyri. Rather, it is a manuscript that details in great depth a huge UFO sighting that was said to have taken place in ancient Egypt during the reign of Thutmose III. But what is the reason that this scroll is currently becoming popular on the internet? What exactly is the backstory to this? Could this be proof of alien existence? Stay with us to the very end to know everything there is to know about this amazing event. There is no specific date that can be pinpointed as the first time a UFO was seen by humans on Earth. The flying objects and possible extraterrestrial visitors are shown in a great number of ancient wall paintings. The enormous pyramids of Egypt, along with the culture and ancient literature of the country, have contributed to its reputation as the most mysterious historical location. It is believed that the Tulli Papyrus was the first proof of ancient flying saucers or unidentified flying objects. This cryptic manuscript claims to be the first written description of a huge UFO encounter in ancient Egypt around 1480 BC. The ancient text describes a high-speed flying spacecraft that lighted up the sky of Egypt before departing into outer space. During the 18th dynasty, Egypt was at the peak of its powers. Egypt was reborn with the establishment of the new kingdom, which brought with it a sophisticated method of appointing new officials to positions within the monarchy. The new dynasty was also known as the Thutmose dynasty, due to the fact that 4 of the pharaohs during this time period bore the name Thutmose. The Tulli Papyrus described the huge UFO sightings that occurred during the reign of Thutmose III, who ordered his scribes to write the incident on a papyrus after he had witnessed it himself. Even though the text has been around for centuries, the 1930s were the decade in which it initially became a phenomenon. When Alberto Tulli, the director of the Egyptian section of the Vatican Museum, was strolling around the market of Cairo in 1933, he is said to have come across a piece of ancient papyrus in an antique shop that had the date 1480 BC. Because the item was out of his price range, he decided to make a copy of the original and alter it by writing hieroglyphs in place of the original hieratic script. Despite the fact that its validity has been called into question because of Tulli's copied version of the ancient papyrus, the theory of ancient astronauts and UFOs has managed to gain widespread popularity. The text was translated not once but twice. The first time it was done so by the Italian aristocrat Prince Boris de Ratchewilz, and the second time it was done so by anthropologist R. Cedric Leonard. De Ratchewilz was the first individual to assert that the papyrus in question was an integral component of the annals of Thutmose III. The following is his translation of the passage. In the year 22 of the 3rd month of winter, the 6th hour of the day among the scribes of the House of Life, it was found that a circle of fire was coming in the sky. It had no head. The breath of its mouth emitted a foul odour. Its body was 1 rod in length and 1 rod in width. It had no voice. It came toward His Majesty's house. Their heart became confused through it, and they fell upon their bellies. They went to the king to report it. His Majesty ordered that the scrolls located in the House of Life be consulted. His Majesty meditated on all events which were now going on. In addition, the papyrus provided an explanation of the structure of the UFO as well as its enormous influence on the surrounding environment. According to the translation, the object was beaming more brightly in the sky than sun itself. The occurrence took place in the early hours of the evening, and the king and his army were present when it took place. The name given to the object was a circle of fire. Thereupon they, i.e. the fire circles, went up higher directed to south. Fishes and volatiles fell down from the sky. It was a marvel never occurred since the foundation of this land, caused His Majesty to be brought incense to pacify the hearth. what happened in the Book of the House of Life to be remembered for the eternity. The fact that there are so many debates over the Tulli Papyrus demonstrates a lack of confidence on everyone's part. However, if this remarkable aerial phenomenon actually occurred, then ancient Egyptian astronomers would not have confused a meteor or a shooting star for a circle of fire. Later in the 1950s, Decoded claimed to have discovered the original version of papyrus, untranslated and unpublished, in Alberto Tulli's papers. The text claims that fiery discs or circles of fire caused confusion, yet it is exceedingly unlikely that ancient Egyptians misinterpreted them. The United States Air Force funded the Condon Committee, UFO research in 1968, and Samuel Rosenberg and Edward Condon investigated the Tulli Papyrus while writing the Condon Report. They requested the Vatican for the original document, but received a reply saying, "The Papyrus Tulli is not the property of the Vatican Museum. It has vanished and is no longer traceable." Further investigation revealed that Alberto Tulli bequeathed all of his property to his brother, a priest in the Lateran Palace. The papyrus was most likely also passed on to the priest. Unfortunately, the priest died immediately after, and his possessions were passed down to his relatives, who may not have thought the Tulli Papyrus was valuable. Should we accept the Tulli Papyrus as a trustworthy source? According to the translations of the ancient text, this alleged UFO sighting occurred around 1480 BC and was witnessed by a large number of individuals. Because the ancient Egyptians were exceptionally advanced in astronomy, it is safe to believe that they would not have misunderstood these fiery disks as a rare astronomical or weather phenomenon. Many historians believe that Egyptians would have been able to identify the difference between an astronomical occurrence and a strange, inexplicable incident like the one recounted in the text because of their competence in astronomy and other sciences. However, we must be careful not to jump to conclusions. On the other hand, keep in mind that the Tulli Papyrus is a translation of a modern manuscript of a claimed Egyptian document, the whereabouts of which is now unknown. Furthermore, the existence of such a document has only been reported by one person, Decoded. Therefore, no scientific analysis can take place without first examining the original for authenticity. So, at this point in history, it would be futile to speculate on what these circles of fire could have been, when the very existence of the original text is in doubt. The debate should continue until new evidence emerges, either proving or exposing the entire narrative as a hoax. For the time being, we can only speculate. The truth, as Mulder from X-Files would say, is out there. Moving on, 3 former US cavalrymen have spoken out about sighting UFOs in the Sinai Peninsula in 2014, near the Israel-Egypt border. The servicemen told the Daily Mail that in December 2014, they witnessed 8 brilliant objects hovering and rushing across the sky from an outpost in Sinai near the Egyptian border. The 3 cavalry scouts, who were trained to identify planes, informed the UK outlets that the objects they observed were not man-made. "I would describe it as a large object with several smaller objects communicating or scuffling like a dogfight in the air," said Sergeant Travis Bingham, 36. Bingham was sent to Observation Post 3-1 in Sinai near the Israel-Egypt border with E4 specialist Vishal Singh and Private First Class Doval Engram. "We knew it wasn't our military and it was perplexing," he continued. "The objects were glowing, you could clearly see them with the naked eye, and it was clear how fast they were moving. To this day, I've never seen anything like the craft covering such distance with extreme speeds." Their statements were reported on the same day that the US Congress convened its first hearing on unidentified flying objects in over half a century. Pentagon authorities did not reveal any new information from their continued investigation into hundreds of unexplained sky sightings when testifying before a House Intelligence Subcommittee. The Pentagon is attempting to destigmatize the issue and encourage pilots and other military personnel to report anything strange they notice, according to Ronald Moultrie, the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. "We want to know what's out there as much as you want to know what's out there," Moultrie told lawmakers, adding that he was a fan of science fiction himself. "In most cases, sightings are only fleeting. Some appear on tape for only a split second before being warped by the camera lens." Recently, a high-ranking official from the Pentagon gave a quick demonstration of the issue. Scott Bray, the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, stood next to a television which displayed a short video shot from an F-18 fighter plane. A blue sky with passing clouds is shown in the video. There is an image of one balloon-like object in a single frame, which took many minutes for personnel in the room to queue up. As you can see, finding UAP is harder than you may think, Bray said, using the acronym for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. Are these stories concerning extraterrestrials in Egypt true? Tell us in the comments section.